Obadiah chapter 1 verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and have prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there is none understanding in him. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And salutations to the Akim out there laboring of the hopeful elect that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. And I want to speak about this, pretty much this video that I have queued up. And it's focusing on Gen Zers. And this is a new trend that's going on where Gen Zers are pretty much going on social media and pretty much mocking the impending military draft. Now, you know, these Gen Zers are pretty much part of that woke movement, you know, and this is was pretty much part of the curriculum that's in the schools. You know, it's just a fact. And the way that they're teaching them, okay, they're pretty much emasculizing the men to not be masculine. You see? Okay? That whole spirit of being a man is not in them. You know, they're not built of the man of old. You see? You know, these Gen Zers do not have the mental capacity to even pass the basic skills tests to even join the military. You see? Okay, you got a lot of them that pretty much are into heavy drug use. A lot of them have mental health issues, you know, coming from broken homes, coming from, you know, torn between what they're being taught in school and whatever else is pretty much instilled amongst their peers. You see? And inside the home, you know, you have a plethora of these Gen Zers that have obesity problems, okay? Unfit for the military, you know? And not to mention the alphabet mob, you know? Okay? So these people pretty much are not built for what this man wants them to do, you see? And they'd rather be influencers, so to speak, you know, on social media, because social media is pretty much the stage where people can get on and pretty much get on their soapbox and do whatever it is that they do just to get recognition, you know. Now there's a few parody videos on this video here, but you just want to get into the mindset of what these men are, and these men are pretty much the sweet spot for the military to recruit them because they have military age. Now we're getting into the mindset of these people now, and there's no missing thought of the military, you know, being depleted and them being in need of military age men to recruit, okay, to fight these wars. You see? But we're seeing now that E is pretty much talking, you know, he's talking real greasy right now, you know, with these other nations. You know, he has this aggression, okay? Because why? It's because he has an agenda that he needs to accomplish in a short period of time. You know, this man knows that he's running out of time, you see? And he has to accomplish his agenda, okay? And he also knows that for him to even accomplish what he needs to accomplish, he's going to have to heavily rely on the military. Now, the pride of his heart has deceived him, because right now, all the other nations, these other superpowers, pretty much have a larger standing army than the U.S. currently does. And even when they do recruit, the men are not built as of the days of old. You know, they have a totally different mindset. Okay, these people have never really seen violence, so to speak. You know, this is the generation where accountability has not been instilled in them. You know, this is the reason why they are so, you know, out of control, so to speak. You know, this is the reason why they pretty much, you know, go out there and wreak havoc and do what it is what they do, because there's never been any repercussions on that. You know, okay, and that real chastisement will happen, you know, once they enter the military. you know, but they're not of that ilk to be those men, those mighty men, so to speak. You see? All right? So let's play a little bit of this video, and I'm going to post some scriptures along the way. So without any further ado.
What would the motivations be for Gen Z joining the military outside of... Are you ready to die for abortion? Private, are you committed to spreading the United States of degeneracy?
Because this is what day one looks like now. You think of...
Well, I saw this TikTok, had to share. You got this young fella, Gen Z, and he's parroting why Gen Z doesn't want to join the military. Some of the points I've heard from you guys in the comments, the video I did about the guy in Poland trolling the soldiers, you probably know what it is. Stand by. Let's see if we can dissect it. They have too much information. Let's go.
If I were to die, I'm still going to be alive on the internet.
I'm in the ghetto. Does this uniform make me look thick? Ah! Wait, turn on my phone. I got a drink.
I'll give you some context before we get into the young fella. Glad you're here. Welcome back to Jameson's Travels. So, I don't know if it's a skit. It's the real army. You see so many TikToks that don't make the military look good. Now, I get it. Young people are going to have fun. But if you're an employer, what do you want your employee making your company look stupid? I don't know.
Water out of this? Renegade. Oh, grenade. It's fucking hot out here. Where's the AC? When's break? Wait, I don't have my gun! Attention! Sir, yes, sir. Private August. Yes, sir. My parents raised me a non-binary. It's just how we like them, Private. Private, are you ready to die for pride parades in Kiev? Are you ready to die for our greatest ally, Private? Private, are you willing to die to maintain the sovereign state of Israel?
I've heard this a lot in the comments over the years. All of these statements could be fringe, but for thousands of times from Gen Z saying this. So I don't know how much a Gen Z that's eligible to go in thinks this, because the patriotism, you didn't build that, I was never proud of America, is gone. So now it's just a job.
Right. And pretty much, the morale of this place is pretty much in down the toilet, man. The truth is really being found out about this man, and really what it is what this individual on the left hand side was talking about, the Gen Zer. What is he willing to die for? You see? And when you had 9/11, pretty much, you had a plethora of men pretty much the next day going into be recruited. That was pretty much patriotism, So now, pretty much now, they know that this place is just a big circus, so to speak. Nothing is being taken seriously. Why? It's not affecting them. That's going on across seas. It's not none of their business. You see? You got these Gen Zers that they don't even go outside to even play, so to speak, or even, to do any outdoor activities. Normally they hold up inside the home, gaming, or pretty much, try to make the next viral hit on social media. You see? They're not athletic. You see? Okay? A lot of them pretty much, man, they're into this, the mental health and the drug use. You see? They pretty much are burnt out. But they fully understand and know that anything that they would do to try to go and fight a war that has nothing to do with them. You see? They don't see any benefit in that. So they pretty much are waking up to that fact. You see? So this is Ezekiel chapter 32, verse 2. Son of man, take up a lamentation for Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and say unto him, Thou art like a lion of the nations, and thou art as a whale in the seas. And pretty much this is how he walks around in the earth, man. He walks around as a lion and as that whale of the sea, that big fish, so to speak. You see? Okay? Or pretty much after World War II, this man, pretty much he made fire come down from heaven. Okay? When he dropped those atomic bombs on Japan. And pretty much now he became that superpower. And all the nations pretty much feared him. And through his democracy that he spread out throughout the earth, okay, people pretty much bowed the knee, so to speak, or kissed the ring, so to speak. You see? But you're seeing now to where you're having a depleted number of military, And these other nations have pretty much stepped their game up militarily. A lot of their GDP pretty much goes to military now, okay, of building up the military. Now, here in the United States, we have a strong standing army as far as military-wise, but it's not to the effect of how large it is with these other countries. You see? Okay, the patriotism is not there anymore. That whole sense of pride of this place is gone. You see? But this man has pretty much pushed his agenda through the schools, and it's pretty much backfiring now. Now the chickens are coming home to roost, so to speak. You see? Okay, so there's no pretty much no loyalty. There's no patriotism anymore. You see? As long as these Gen Zers have the comfort of their own home, they're not concerned about anything else going on outside of their pretty much their community. That's just a fact. You see? They're pretty much, a lot of them are built up to be anti-war. They have these anti-war philosophies, man. These are the Gen Zers that you see out there pretty much protesting, man, against war. So now you want them to fight for you in the war? You see? You see how it just backfires on them? You see? But it says, thou art a young lion of the nations, and thou art as a whale in the seas. Thou camest forth with thy rivers, and troublest the waters with thy feet, and foulest their rivers. When you came with your philosophy, man, you're basically pretty much oppressing a man and his heritage in these other lands. You see? And what was the only tactic that they used was pretty much to where, if you don't bow the knee to what we want you to do, we're going to sanction you. But we're seeing now that is a old dinosaur tactic now. That's pretty much backfiring now. But now, it's going to come a point in time to where boots ultimately have to be on the ground now. Okay? You see? Because now these other nations now are finding ways to get around the petrodollar, which ruled the nations. You see? That was the king of currency, so to speak. But we're seeing now with Russia and China forming the BRICS, and all these other nations pretty much are joining unto them. So now that the whole sanctioning power doesn't have any effect. You see? Case in point, with this proxy war going on with Russia, we're seeing now, when you see the video with Tucker Carlson, when he went to go to Moscow to interview Putin, you're seeing when he went into the supermarket, you don't see any interruption of the supply chain. Okay? The food was plenteous, varieties of different foods and fruits, and it didn't seem like they was even bothered by what was going on, even though they're in a full-fledged war with Ukraine. You see? But everything has pretty much remained the same there, and it's unscathed by the sanctions that have been put on that country. You see? There's no effect in it. So now, physicality now has to play a part for this country. This country cannot no more just idle threats, so to speak. The idle threats are pretty much ran its course. You see? But it says, thus said the Lord power, I will therefore spread out my net over thee with a company of many people, and they shall bring thee up in my net. You see? And this place is going to be dragged into that war, man. The scriptures speak about, man, the least of the flock shall draw them out. Okay? So, this man can pretty much fight his proxy war all he wants. But he's going to have to get in there 10 toes down sooner or later. He knows that. Okay? And for him to pretty much accomplish his agenda, okay? And he's really moving with aggression, so to speak. Okay? Threatening these nations. And he knows that he has but a short time to accomplish these things, man. To bring in his agenda. You see? But let's continue.
You're not going in thinking, okay, I'm going to make this into an adventure, grow up. Because we're going to get to an Army vet, looks like, talking about this. Like, why would Gen Z join? You saw him at the beginning. He's got some interesting points. Stand by.
Are you willing to die for the revision of sodomy laws? What about abortion, Private? Are you ready to die for abortion? Private, are you committed to spreading the United States of degeneracy?
I don't know what you can argue with this kid now, what we see with our own eyeballs, right? Do you want to send your young son to Ukraine right now? And we saw what happened 20 years in the desert. We come back with what? I mean, I don't even see oil being cheaper. You'd think there'd be something, right? Do I feel safer after 20 years, after 9/11? 9/11, we had a record group of people who joined, right? They were patriotic. And you look back 22 years later and you go, it swung the other direction.
Every single darn part of this world. I'm talking about transhumanism in Sweden and child bottom surgery in Portugal. Serious, sir.
Not me being dramatic. Girl, guess what? I just got kidnapped.
Now think about it. You're a young man, you want to test your metal, and then you see these kind of things. Sure, it's a skit, but some of these aren't skits. I don't know what's going on, but you see these people make it look stupid. It's not helpful at all. Again, we're going to get to the Army guy talking about why would Gen Z join? He's got some good points.
I'm calling you through my Apple Watch. So, where are the bathrooms? I'm not using those. Actually, my pronouns are hot, sexy, and always slay. We're getting attacked. Oh.
And pretty much this is the mindset of the Gen Zs when you see these skits, man. It's not too far-fetched. Okay? They pretty much have been sheltered from the real world. You see? But they're actually pretty much witty. And as far as them mocking it, because now they understand that there's nothing for them to really fight for. Why would they have the mindset now? What? It's not, they don't want to leave the comforts of their home. You understand? From being from their family. They've been sheltered all their life. They haven't seen any real tribulation. But it is coming. You see? Okay? And it says, this is Ezekiel chapter 32, verse 4. Then will I leave thee upon the land, I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of heaven to remain upon thee, and I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee. You see? Okay, so the Lord's going to have a great sacrifice, man, to pretty much have the beasts of the earth feed on these dead bodies, man. You see? And it says, and I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains and fill the valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land which thou swimmest, even to the mountains and to the rivers shall be full of thee. You see? Okay, and this is going to be the judgment for these men. Okay? Because, you're going to have some of them that's going to have no choice but to get in there. Whether it's through a draft or whether it's because they've been promised some type of incentives. And usually that's what got most people to go into the Army, was because of incentives, man. To pretty much flee from the situation that they was in growing up in whatever areas that they lived. You see? Especially Jake. Jake always tried to escape the hood, the ghettos, and join the Army, man, pretty much to stay out of trouble. Because it was either jail or death. A lot of them felt like, why not? We go to the military to go see the world. But back in those days, there was no real war going on. You would have Jake pretty much go and stay a number of years in Germany, Hawaii, and these different places like that, Japan. And, they come back with these stories, man. You see? And they come back what? They come back with whatever the GI Bill, whatever incentives that the Army would give them. A lot of them make careers out of it. And they never really seen no real war. You see? But this time is different now. Okay? All right, World War III has already started. There's newsflash. You see? You got multiple nations that's already doing it, whether they're fighting directly or indirectly through proxy. The war of the worlds has already began. And it's really starting on different fronts, and you're starting to see it brew. Okay? You see? Let's continue.
Now, is the pronoun theater, the Stunning and Brave trans people, all that, is that helping recruiting? Are we getting a mass influx of people that are transgender joining the military? Does it help? I mean, if it does help, I go, okay, you're right. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think all the things combined, and now Gen Z's got all this information at their fingertips. They can see it with their own eyes.
You know what I'm saying? Hey Siri, call a number. And then he took off his mask and...
Hey, We're drafting you to the Army.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh, hell no. But look, you get to become TikTok famous.
Do you think there's some people really joining the Instagram, the TikTok? I didn't grow up with any of it, so maybe it's a thing. And maybe it's a good thing. They want to go in and they love it and they become lifers, right? I don't know that's the case, though, because it's not even as good as the TikToks look, and they're sitting around, hurry up and wait, come in on weekends to clean a squad bay or the barracks, and they're bitter.
So I've been spending some time thinking about this for a little while. I want to understand, what would the motivations be for Gen Z joining the military outside of, being an influencer or being viral on TikTok?
That's a real question. I don't know. When I heard this, I saw the young man doing the skit, making fun of why he wouldn't join. The Israel comment, the abortion, the bottom surgeries. He's this guy. Looks like he's in, I'm guessing, the Army. I couldn't find an answer to that question. Family tradition, maybe. Maybe they want to go in and test their mettle, and they're going to go in and try to go SF or something, or recon, or something along those lines. I don't know.
Do they find free college appealing? Do they find free room and board appealing? Do they find free medical care appealing? What are the reasons why Gen Z is interested in joining the military? I genuinely want to know.
I don't think they find any of that appealing. They go into debt they're never going to pay off. They're forced to get health insurance, often with a subsidy, right? They don't have a good job through Obamacare. The pride element of this has been destroyed by the brass, the patriotic element. So what's left? Just a shitty job we have very little control over in their mind, in Gen Z's mind? You see where I'm going with this?
In Gen Z, and you're thinking about joining the military, let me know in the comments what you...
And it pretty much, they have seen the effects of men of war, and that's one of the things that the Lord hates, man. A man of war that suffers poverty, man. Okay? You have a plethora of homeless that are out here, and you're seeing military men that would have on some type of military hat or veterans hat out and pretty much down and out and begging for money. You see? These men should be pretty well taken care of, man. Men of war. But they're forsaken and kicked to the side of the road, man. Okay? A lot of them have major disabilities, and they're not even able to properly exercise that. You see? Okay? They're having a hard way to go. And you see these Gen Zers pretty much are literally stepping over them out in the street on their way to school. Literally. You see? This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might have failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. You see? And these people do not have the mental capacity to handle combat war. You see? Verse 31. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that the city is taken at one end, and that the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war were frightened. You see? Okay? And that's pretty much, man, how you're going to see this still thing. This is how it's going to play out. Okay? This is actually how it's going to play out. They're making these parodies and they're not trying to leave the comforts of their surroundings to go to fight a war that what principles, what benefit do they really have? They got to ask themselves that. You see? This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 33. For thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It's time to thresh her. Yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. And we're entering to that, because this man is pretty much encoaching. He is guilty of encoachment. Encoachment is when you try to basically provoke. Okay, and you're seeing that now, how these other nations are pretty much considering. You see? And what does the prophecy say? You know? Right? All of the nations are going to put themselves in array against this place, man. Okay? And come up against her, the great whore. You see? All right? From there, let's go to we're going to stay in Jeremiah. We're going to go to Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation amongst the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon. And thou was not aware, and thou art found, and also caught. And because thou hast striven against Yahweh, and this man has striven against the Lord, man. You know, everything that this man, laws that this man passes, okay, is contrary to the laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You see? The philosophy, where he wants to guise it as democracy, okay, is against the scriptures. You see? Okay? This man, there's no understanding in this man. And everything that he's pretty much doing is pretty much backfiring on him. You see? Okay? You know? It says, the Lord had opened his armory and had brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of Yahweh by power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. You see? And this is pretty much, when what's the Lord's armory? The Lord's army ultimately is going to be that cherry on top. Them ICBMs. Okay? And pretty much people are not even considering. Okay? They're not even considering that that's going to actually come into play. You see? You know, people are looking at this place as one big Disneyland. They don't even see that an end is coming. You see? Okay? All right? This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 29. Call together the archers against Babylon. O ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she have done, do unto her. For she hath been proud against Yahweh, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith Yahweh. Behold, I am against thee, thou, O thou most proud, saith Yahweh of hosts. For thy day is come, and the time that I will visit thee. And the proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall rise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all around about him. You see? Okay? That's pretty much the judgment of you people. You know, when you read down in the next verse, you know, the children of Judah and the children of Israel were pressed together. Okay? They were held captives and they refused to let them go. Okay? You see? But this is pretty much going to be the demise of this empire, man. Okay? The future is bleak. Okay? When you're looking at the military, man. Okay? Who's ultimately going to fight this war? You see? And even when you talk about, you know, this man has been pretty much deceived for his mighty air force. But now you're seeing the nations pretty much now have anti-aircraft that is far superior to the capabilities of the planes that they're still flying. You see, the fleets of these planes are pretty much are getting old, okay, and the technology is pretty much getting of a dinosaur type attributes to it. You see, all right. From there, let's go to. Let's pull one more precept real quick. This is let's go Ezekiel chapter 32, verse start at 8. All of the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land, saith the Lord power. I will also vex the hearts of many people, when I shall bring thy destruction among the nations unto the countries in which thou hast not known. Yea, I will make many people amazed at thee, and their kings shall be horribly afraid for thee, when I shall brandish my sword before them, and they shall tremble at every moment, every man for his own life, in the day of thy fall. For thus say the Lord power, the sword of the king of Babylon shall come upon thee, all the swords of the mighty will I cause thy multitude to fall, and the terrible of the nations, all of them, and they shall spoil the pomp of Egypt, and all the multitude thereof shall be destroyed. You see? Okay? So this man's pomp is going to be brought down to the ground. Okay? And he has no antidote for it. It is pretty much now, it's all in the hands of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right? So with that, I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.